differentiation per se doesn't mean anything. It's only meaningful to me if it's of value.
G'day everybody, great to have you back again, and great to have Patrick Boucousis with me. G'day Patrick.
G'day John, good to be here, thank you.
Loving this series of discussions, and this one I think you've got some really good, interesting views on. And that is, we as salespeople need to differentiate from the next salesperson, We need to differentiate in the way we sell, in the value we bring to the client, and a whole host of different areas. But, how do we do that, and what process do we go through to differentiate?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. One of the very first pieces of advice I got as a new salesperson was from a much valued mentor, and it's to do with differentiation. He said, if you're going to differentiate, if you're going to be different, first be the same, then be different. Otherwise, you're only going to be different.
First be the same and then be different.
Yes.
You better talk me through that one.
So what that essentially meant was, be relatable, be someone that the buyer can relate to. Otherwise, you're just going to be different. And if you're just different, that means irrelevant. They're not like us. I can't relate to anything you're saying or anything you're doing. And oftentimes, salespeople live in their world where the buyer has their reality. They're living in their world of problems or challenges or whatever. And that's the world that you need to inhabit. And I think that salespeople, for instance, want to talk about solutions, which presupposes they clearly understand the problem and they know how to solve it. And I'd suggest that most of the time you just don't. And so, for example, I never use the words, I have a solution to a buyer. I'm clueless, I don't know. And I think what happens is that we judge people that we trust based on the extent to which we can relate to them, or the extent to which they think they understand us. You think about a doctor, for example, you don't know when you go to a doctor whether or not they're going to be able to cure you. That's going to happen after the event. You judge them on the extent to which they relate to you. And so, John, does this happen, or do you get this, or do you get that? And you think, this person understands. QED, they can fix me. That's kind of the connection you make. And it's the same in selling, that if you're relatable, buyer thinks you understand them, they're going to sort of assume that you're going to be able to help fix them or take them to where they want to go.
Okay, so we've related, we've built some level of relationship, some level of trust, we understand,
Yes.
We've walked in the shoes of that
Yes.
client a little bit.
Yes.
But we have to differentiate ourselves and our product and what we can do for the customer. How do we go about that then?
You'd think, wouldn't you? That's the irony, I suppose, that when you relate to them and you speak their language, straight away as a salesperson, you're going to be differentiated, because 95% of salespeople, seriously, 95% of salespeople don't do that. They come across as clones. You're going to
selling a product,
rather than service,
rather than understanding the client.
You think it's different. To the buyer, it all sounds the same. However, they make the decision. As we said in a previous video, 53% of the decision criteria comes down to the sales experience. That's more important than anything else. I want to do business with someone I trust. I want an outcome. I don't want a product or a service. I want a result. If I buy a product or service, that doesn't guarantee I'm going to get a result. I won't know that until after I bought the thing. How do I know I'm buying the right thing? How do I know it will actually deliver the result? That gets down to my confidence and trust, sales experience in the seller. That, I trust that person. They understand me. They're going to deliver the result.
Okay. So are you saying we don't have to differentiate? I just have to do a really good job of selling?
Yeah. Being different, what is being different? Why be different for the sake of being different? It's a case of the buyer wants a result. Just be the person that the buyer can count on to get the result. Whether it's the same as they could have got from 10 other people doesn't make any difference. The fact is they're going to buy it from you because it's you that they're confident is going to be able to deliver that result for them. Because the source of value. Because
you're the most professional salesperson.
Yes.
You're become the trusted
Yes.
advisor.
Yes.
You've earned that right.
Yes.
And they understand.
Yes.
You really understand them
Yes.
very, very well. So they're going
Yes.
to have trust in whatever we end up proposing.
Yeah. I want to be able to look in your eyes and say, this is going to work, isn't it, John? And John looks at me and says, yeah, don't worry. That's what I want. That's more than anything is the confidence that the buyer wants. We want to feel safe. It's a very primal human need, is to feel safe with the purchase.
At the same time, you're not saying we don't differentiate what we bring to the table versus our competitors, right? That's the solution
Yes.
differentiation. But
Yes.
we're talking our differentiation is really being the most professional salesperson.
Yeah, but what is difference anyway? Why would I want to buy something for the sake of it being different? Differentiation per se doesn't mean anything. It's only meaningful to me if it's of value. That, so all I really want to know about a product or a service is how will that impact me? What benefit will I get? What value will I get? The fact it's different to everyone else's is of itself immaterial. It's the outcome I want.
But I would argue that if you've really got to know this customer well, you've built that level of trust, and now you're taking them on a thinking journey about how they might be able to address their challenges.
Yes.
If you're able to bring ideas to the table that they
Yes.
value,
Yes.
right, and you can deliver to those
Yes.
ideas, you are
Yes.
differentiating if nobody else can
Yes.
do what you've just taken them on.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And of course the other differentiation is them themselves doing something different. Them themselves changing. By definition, buying something means change. Most of us don't like change. So it's the ability to take them on that journey so that they're going to be ending up doing something different. First though, be relatable, or it's just going to seem, I'm going to be out on a limb there. I can't see why I should be doing that.
So bottom line is you're saying because the biggest influencer on a decision is the salesperson.
Yeah.
If that salesperson is the most professional salesperson and
Yes.
conducts themselves the way we've been talking about through all these
Yes.
discussions, that they're relating extremely well with the client, they build a level
Yes.
of trust, the client knows that we really understand them, we've started walking in their own shoes, they can now trust whatever solution
Yes.
we bring to the table.
Yes. They can be the biggest influence. Alternatively, I guess they could be the biggest influence. They could be the biggest influence in a negative sense too.
Oh, for a salesperson,
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what you're saying.
If they don't deliver the experience, then you make no difference, and they
So
go somewhere else.
we don't have to be different, like
No.
eccentric or whatever
No,
like that. We
no.
just need to be a really professional salesperson.
Yes.
And we get to that stage and
Yes.
build all the habits and everything else we've talked
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
then we're probably differentiated from most of our competitors anyway.
Absolutely. It's a case of empowering and enabling the buyer. If you do that,
Empowering and enabling the buyer. Hey, I hope you got some value out of that. I did. Thank you very much, Patrick.
thank you for having me, John.